Are you stuck at home in lockdown? Yeah, I know, we all are. Don't worry, we've got you covered because it's time once again for Live at Night with Pete Ferrero.
Don't you want to be like, I don't give a shit?
Send me your address. I'll be
is.
happy to send you a copy.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. And so, and I paid for it. So that's just lovely. No.
I'm on, okay, what's that? I'm live at night.
Where whatever happens, happens. Now, along with his special guests, here's your host, Pete Ferrero.
There she is.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
It's good to have you here in lockdown, right?
Yeah. You like my air conditioner?
I love it. I love it.
So
I delete my background because it's horrific. So
there's the plant instead.
So we're going to have some fun. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about how you're doing, the career. You're going to maybe show us what you're eating and all this. And I got some surprises for you along the way as well.
Wonderful. I can't
Yeah. Okay. I'm having a glass of wine. Are you having anything?
I am having a sour right now. We're opening a bottle of red to breathe while I'm waiting for the
Nice.
sour to be done.
There you go. So cheers. Yeah. So let me ask you first. How is VIX? What is happening now in regards to the coronavirus?
Well, right now we're waiting patiently for
Mhm.
obviously some more information. We're waiting for some obviously the grants and all those loans and all those things to come through. So in the meantime, we stay in contact with our staff. We talk every day. We send pictures. Especially to some of the guys that have been with me a really long time. It was Passover last week, and at VIX we always make our own matzah. So I was making it in my own home last week for some of our regulars that had asked for it. So I
That's
sent
awesome.
it to the guy that always makes it with me, who deep down hates making it. But he was excited that we're still carrying on tradition, and we're right now the restaurant is hanging out, and I water the plants once a week. We have an olive tree and some little orange trees that we need to keep alive, and we're waiting patiently. And as soon as we get that go ahead, we'll be in there getting ready to do takeout and to.
So you're not doing takeout right now?
We are not.
No, that's okay, right?
Yeah, I think it's okay for the
Yeah.
safety of our staffs. I mean, everyone travels from so far every day, and there's so many variables along the way that it's, you know what, I'd rather wait another couple of weeks and get everyone in healthy and get
Yeah.
that restaurant operating faster than it take longer.
Now, what do you think on the turnaround time? Do you think it's going to be a couple of weeks, or are you thinking that it's going to be a couple of months, maybe a couple of years? The way it keeps looking.
Awful.
Well, no, like every time I think we're going to cross a hurdle, I'm like, oh no, it's another month. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I do know what you mean. I'm hoping that we'll be in there in baby steps in the next couple of weeks. I don't think we'll be operating at our normal capacity for months.
Right.
I think we can get that takeout and the delivery and all those things back to normal in a very limited capacity. I'm hoping by mid-May. That's when I'd like to be present doing those things. And in the meantime, we're going to do that painting that we've been waiting to do, and
Right.
the grouting of the tiles that I'm going to learn how to do. And
Right. Fixing the potted plant that we broke during Her Name is Chef, right?
we definitely have enough potted plants that are broken.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we can be doing. We're actually making those lists now. So when we do open, it's beautiful and shiny, and like 5.5 years hadn't passed by.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, but I moved to Los Angeles. I don't know if you've heard that. Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
But okay, when the world opens, the
Yes.
first place I'm coming to is VIX. So I'm doing this in reverse. I'm flying back and I'm going to go there. I know there's a lot of wonderful restaurants out here, but I'm coming home.
You too. I mean, I can just fly out there and make cacio for you right there.
Oh, that would be even more amazing. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of your career. Obviously, you've worked for some of the most brilliant chefs in the world, right?
I mean, I would say I've worked for a great handful of people. Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's an incredible list. When you look at the list, it's like wow. So you had a good pedigree. What was it like? I mean, early on you started working with Bobby Flay, who's a huge Food Network personality. I mean, he's my man crush. I tell everybody that will listen. What was it like? Did you came out of school, I'm sure, right? And then you were kind of like, I'm going to work for Bobby Flay. Was that intimidating at all to you, or because he was this TV icon, or what was that like for you?
Well, I mean, you know, the coolest part is that I was traveling for a while, and I, you know, was living in Chicago, and I didn't think we had cable. And I think I knew that Bobby was on TV, and I knew about him, but I had no idea of how big he was. And when I started working for him, he only had 2 restaurants, so he was there. So it was like working for an intimidating chef that was on TV at the same time that his office was here. And you know, you had to get over it pretty quickly. I learned some. Yeah, you didn't have a choice.
Yeah, you can't be asking him about Boy Meets Grill and episode 7.
My tamale sauce correct today, or
Right.
you know, it was an amazing experience, and I would do it all over again. I learned so much, and from that kitchen, Mesa Grill Kitchen, back in 2000, it was an amazing place to be, and I still hold that near and dear in my heart of cooking. I mean, that shrimp tamale, for all the people that work there, they know that it was like a garlic cream sauce, and like Leah knows it. I know she knows it.
I love that restaurant too. I mean, that was my favorite of his restaurants in New York City. And it's an awesome opportunity. But you want to of course, shout out Christine Sanchez, right? That was the person that's yeah.
Of course. I mean, Christine gave me a shot when I had, like, my resume had an Irish pub, which still near and dear to me. You know, a beachside cafe.
Up in Montauk, right?
Yeah, like I had a resume that didn't belong in a New York City kitchen on the hotline right off the bat. So it was a rude awakening. I won't lie. That first couple of weeks, I had no idea what I was doing or getting into, or what was happening around me, or what an ancho pepper was, or Bastia and poblano. I had no idea.
Right.
But
you quickly had to learn that, though, for sure, because it's in almost everything.
So. I'd studied those dried chili posters up on the staircase towards the office, like, every day. Okay, what is this pepper? What am I going downstairs for? What is a chili d'arbo? What is this? So
yeah. Now, every summer I go up to Lake George. It's not Montauk by any means, but I am worried about those communities a little bit with this going on. Do you have anybody up there still that knows what's up?
I do. I have a lot of people still out in Montauk, and I will say that the locals out there were a little upset about half of their, you know, New York City people coming out there and taking all their food, essentially.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, because all of a sudden the winter population of Montauk is a quarter of what the summer population is, and now these smaller businesses out there weren't open. They were not ready. There's only one grocery store, one farmer's market. So I think that everyone's adjusting to a community that just quadrupled in size overnight, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, I think some of the businesses that can do takeout and delivery have reopened. So maybe they're going to elongate their season. But if they do close the beaches for the entire summer.
Right. Yes.
I mean,
one of the most exciting things about getting out to Los Angeles was, oh my God, I can go to Santa Monica in the summer. I can go I'm not going anywhere.
You know, I'm envisioning that, like, you know, that scene from Jaws, you know.
Right. Get out of the water. I might watch that tonight. You know, I have what the fuck else am I going to do?
You know, just running down the beach and yelling. Yeah. And that's what I'm envisioning. I know it's not what's going to happen, but that's when I saw that article about beach closings, I was like, oh my God, Chief Brody's coming. That's it.
Well, let me ask you, what have you been watching while this is, I'm sure you're binging some stuff, no?
You know, I'm such a bad TV watcher, but I won't watch TV during the day. It's like a rule I have. I won't do it. We've been watching Money Heist.
Okay. I don't know.
I finally finished Game of Thrones. I know.
Nice. Okay. Wow. Yeah. You're really catching up. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, it took me, we've been watching Game of Thrones since last summer.
Nice.
And we finally finished it the first week of quarantine. We had like 2 episodes left, and I was like, this is the worst time to finish this.
Yeah.
We were debating rewatching The Wire because we missed it.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that. Somebody told me they love it.
It's so good. I mean, I'll rewatch it just to talk to you about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, do you ever watch the show Lost?
Oh my God.
Yeah. I thought about rewatching that. Like, I think it's on Hulu now. So I was like, ooh, maybe I'll give that a go. Yeah.
Absolutely have access to that. You know what? That's like, I so far that's where I'm at. I started watching The Americans on Amazon Prime.
Right.
the other day. We finished Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Like we finished all these things, and like now I'm trying to find more things to watch, but in a limited capacity, just at night.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, what are you? I thought maybe the last time. Okay, we have the first pop-up surprise coming for you. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Someone is going to pop in and surprise you. Uh-oh. A spoiler alert, the name popped in.
Let's see if we can get that video going here.
Yeah, she will. She's an expert now.
Yeah.
She's got this figured out, I think.
Hmm.
Maybe not. Well, before she'll pop in at some point. It took a second for you to pop in. But anyway, you last time I think when we did the round table, you were talking about making a lot of breads and stuff like that.
You know, it's really, I'm really focusing on the things I've always wanted to do. Like, this is obviously a terrible thing that's happening, but how can I utilize my time to re-educate myself? I'm taking a wine class online. I took a class on food and science the other day. Like, just because I had this opportunity all of a sudden, yes, could I sit and read books and watch TV all day? Yeah, that sounds great. But I want to make sure that I'm still educating myself and doing things that are fun and I'm learning and that I have time to work on. I have been making breads mostly and pizza that I'm not really eating. So I've been making it, and then like either I give it to the neighbor downstairs or I drop it off to a friend. For the amount of bread that I'm making, I cannot consume all of this.
Okay, I think Elizabeth can hear us.
Yes.
we can't. we can't see you.
Oh,
there
okay.
she is.
Sorry, I thought you were blocking me from coming on for a second or something.
No. We have Hillary here, and I wanted to surprise her with some friends.
You sunny California people are killing me right now.
That's so nice.
I ask Google every morning, and she says the same thing. It's cloudy and 43, and I just can't take it anymore.
Elizabeth, how did you meet Hillary?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like it's probably just been from eating your food.
Did you just wake up this?
No.
Okay,
No. I think
from an LA nap.
Am I right that is the first time I met you when you were, I think, in Aspen? Like,
it's a possibility.
Maybe you were still working at Avoce.
A
long time ago.
Actually, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a possibility.
Because or maybe even at Avoce a long time ago, because I went there a few times. But yeah, probably many years ago.
Yeah.
And then
when did she cook for you first? What was it? Was it a restaurant setting? Was it something like a event? What do you remember what it was, or do you remember
well, Aspen Food and Wine? I know I had something that Hillary and Missy made. I don't remember what it was, but
it was stracciatella. That's what we were cooking in Aspen the first time, not the second. The second was cochon, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. Then there was that.
Well, I guess what I'm going to ask you is, what's the first thing that you remember eating of hers that you were like, oh man, she's good?
Oh man, well, I mean, for sure at Vic's, I don't know, whenever you started there, and just everything. I like your palette so much. I like all of your salad stuff, all of your appetizers. I love that crazy onion thing.
Deep down, I do too.
And I love all your pizzas. And like I had some of your pizza early on, and we talked about pizza dough and stuff. And yeah, I honestly, everything I've ever had that you make is really tasty.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
My cooks freak out when you come in. I just want you to know that, especially the pizza ones. The ones that really understand the dough, and they're really excited about, they're like, every time you come in to eat, they're like, they get so nervous, especially if you order a pizza. It's a handful of celebrities.
Stop worrying. You guys make great pizzas. That's why I keep showing up there.
And the carrots are outrageous.
Oh my God, Peter, I have 20 pounds of carrots at home, and I can't make myself eat all of them. So bad.
I don't even eat carrots, but I eat them when I come to Vic's. You know what I mean? It's like my first thing.
It's funny too. Like I know you're from the East Coast, right, Hillary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you cook you have a palate like somebody from the West Coast does too. And I know just having lived in New York now for 8 years, but being from California, I'm really I like food with so much more citrus acidity, and I always have. It's always been kind of my complaint in a lot of cocktails and some food stuff in New York, because citrus doesn't grow there, so it makes sense. And I've also adapted my palate to that with more vinegar and stuff like that. But you actually put a lot of acid in your food, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And I know I have that in common. I think Gabrielle likes that about your food a lot too.
I like the citrus. I like the acid. I'm still working. I have a bunch of stuff here in the house right now that I'm steeping vinegar. I'm running out of a space, and I'm running out of citrus right now to squeeze. So.
Oh man, yeah.
Elizabeth, why I have you here, I want to ask you about the restaurant industry. I mean, I'm sure you're on the front lines of some of this. You're dealing with some friends that are having some problems. And by the way, Zoom is horrific. Just we're all clear that there's been nothing but problems with it. But I'm wondering what
you're in some kind of like.
It's just I'm in a war with Zoom. Yeah. Yeah. Every day of my life. Anyway, so what is happening on your end now? What are you hearing? Hillary was telling us a little bit about what Vic's strategy is, but is there something that restaurants can sort of go to at this point, or what are you hearing?
I mean, the strongest voice I'm hearing is everybody really needs to talk to, politicians and try to get more attention on this industry that seems to like the Independent Restaurant Coalition. I was listening to Katie Button talking earlier about how, this fast food restaurants are going to be fine. Nobody's worried about them, but why are they like getting into the benefits right now is beyond me.
Yeah,
and,
Jack in the Box is good.
Yeah, and also they already are set up for this kind of, hands-off business anyway. So I think one of the biggest things is to keep, and it's not the fun part of restaurant business, that's for sure, but like keep vocalizing all of the numbers and the margins and we can't just go back to having, I was thinking about New York, like you can't even have like tables 6 feet away from each other. That's as big as the restaurant,
Yeah.
So it's really gonna, I think, depend. It's gonna be hard for us to go back to like the restaurant settings as we've built them, especially in a place like New York, but we've got to think of new ways to get food to people. That's not just, I saw one of those robot delivery things on the street the other day in West Hollywood. It was just driving along and I was like, what is that? And it's one of those little robot delivery things. So I'm like, it's happening already.
Are you getting out much or not really?
No, not much. I was just driving around different neighborhoods just to kind of, because there's no cars on the streets and you can never drive around.
It's so crazy.
All of LA right now, like you can't.
Well, when we got here, we rented an Airbnb in LA, in Hawthorne, LA, Los Angeles, which is, I don't know, right by the airport. And we were going back and forth because we were renting a house in Altadena anyway. This is really just not for anybody who cares. But anyway, so we're going back and forth to LA, but there was no traffic. I was like, if we had done this during, normal times, oh my God, this would have killed us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
So it's been pretty crazy. Yeah, I appreciate you coming in. You have anything else you want to jump in and say to Hillary?
Well, I mean, I was talking, do you know Pam Wisnitzer? She's a really great mixologist in New York.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier, and she was like, wonder what the permit process is to be able to set up like a pop-up bar on the sidewalk. And I was like, that's a good idea, because summertime.
Got somebody else popping in. I don't know who it's going to be yet. Let's see who this is. Coming from an iPhone, so we got another surprise for you.
I'm just thinking, like, set up a lemonade stand outside, and with cocktails and pizza and whatever.
I'm excited. I will DM her right now to be like, let's do a pop-up stand. I'm ready.
Yeah, because I think everybody's going to want something.
Who is our mystery guest? Who is that?
Oh, what do I do? It's Leah. I always second it.
Start video.
Oh, hey!
Let's see. There she is. Yes. Leah Gashion. How are you?
I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Hold on.
You did freeze. This is Zoom. This is the Zoom. This is my life with this Zoom. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. It's just the Wi-Fi is perfect.
I can't see you guys. Are you there?
No, we hear you. We hear you. Yeah, you've taken over the show.
You
Um,
hear me?
we can hear you. So, what is your favorite thing that you have eaten that Hillary has made?
I'm afraid this is going to turn into a roast.
Oh
too.
my God.
No, there's no roast. It's
A
all
roast?
love.
Are you kidding me?
All love.
All love. Oh, the pepperoni bread probably. The chicken dish with the Fresnos, the cacio pepe.
Oh,
Of course,
yeah.
the cacio pepe. The rainbow
Chicken.
cookies.
I have this much rainbow
chicken.
cookies in the freezer, like, and we like
Rainbow cookies.
slice them like like only for like really emergency like situations do we break into it, and that's the last rainbow cookies out there right now.
How about the genius
Fascinating.
of Hillary to put rainbow cookies in an ice cream?
Oh, right. We need some of that too.
Oh, man, I can go for a bucket of that right now. Elizabeth, when you first get back to New York, I don't know when that will be.
I know.
Christmas. Are you're gonna jump right to Vic's, right? Isn't that one of the first places you're going?
It's like I'm so craving the restaurants right now, including
Same.
Vic's. I'm just like, I'll never take for granted the walking in and, you know, ordering a cocktail at the bar and then sitting down and having like service and just somebody else's food. And I love that already, but I mean, I can't even, it just seems like a fantasy right now. Like,
I know. I miss it so much. There are moments in the day where I'm just like, I'm gonna go for a drink at nope.
I'm gonna go for my drink in my dining room. That's
Exactly.
no.
Leah, let me ask you real quick. We ask the others, how are you doing with everything? You have 2 restaurants, right? So
Yes.
what's happening now?
So one restaurant is closed, which may reopen shortly. We're waiting to hear back about the PPP, which is
Well,
the Paycheck
Big news.
Protection
All the money
Program.
is gone, they said today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm waiting to hear back. Like, anyway, we're waiting to hear on that. South and Pine is open. We've been open since like March 18th or 19th. It's going pretty well. We've gotten a great response. We're doing this grocery program 3 days a week where we have like a list of things that we're using in the restaurant, like chicken breast, local chicken thighs, local egg, local dairy products, a ton of local produce. And so that's been really successful. And this week we just started doing like Fry-Yay, which is like fried chicken Fridays and Saturdays for family style, 4 to 6 people. So I just got done making 450 biscuits.
Nice.
I probably have like flour somewhere. I just washed my glasses off because it was all over me. And yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's definitely not business as normal, but it's 100% keeping us alive. And like, I feel like I'm fighting for my life right now.
I remember when we did the round table a few weeks ago, you were in a really bad place because there was no light almost, right? But you seem like a little bit better now that this has sort of shifted for you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like these restaurants are, I think I probably said it last time, they're the love of my life. And so, I mean, I was in a very, very bad place mentally, and it's a very good thing that I am able to be working because I need to do that to be okay. I need this in my life. It was rough.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what restaurant staffs are dealing with. You know, I think there's a lot that need to be working and aren't right now. That's even one of the, I think the biggest fears in all this, right? I mean, as somebody brought up on the, Mike Carino brings up a lot, the mental health aspect of restaurant employees, that, you know, there's already sort of a hurdle just when restaurants are open, and now that they're closed, I'm sure this has been horrific for everybody. Elizabeth, do you want to say something about that?
No, I agree. I just don't, it's going to have a long-term effect. I think it's we were all like so scared for that first week. I just started like cooking like I'd never be able to cook again or something. Like I just started making so much stuff just out of like nervous behavior, you know?
Right.
And then that's just turned into like, oh, I guess I can make videos of my cooking, because I just don't even know how people are dealing with the kind of energy that it takes to be a chef or work in a restaurant. And when you don't have that, it's such a shock to your system. Like I had to go through that, 10 years ago when I stopped working in restaurants full time. So I've experienced that sort of post-traumatic restaurant stress disorder. But that's really what it's like, because you're so used to this crazy adrenaline every day, and then you just don't have it. I mean, then you don't have the stimulus around it. So it's a challenge.
And you can't even do an event, you can't dine anywhere. All of us are sort of social butterflies in a way, right? When you're out and about. How has that been for you guys?
I mean, I have to change my running routes. I'll be honest, because like otherwise I'm going crazy of the same block, the same systems, the same everything. You kind of like, you see people in the neighborhood and you kind of wave, but then you have these like 6 foot distance conversations and, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think I'm on the phone more than I've ever been in my entire life, which is great. I mean, I think I talk to my dad probably once a day now. I mean, and
that's awesome.
Which is amazing. I don't think I've ever done that. So, but I think it's about like, looking for that person at the park that you see every day. And Elizabeth, you could vouch for me on this one. This is a totally random thing, but so cyclists will say hi like across like a 10-lane highway. They'll wave to you, good morning, even if you can't hear each other. Runners don't say a peep. There's no interaction. And I'm so that person that's like, good morning. Like, there's not that many people out on the street sometimes, and you're like nodding with like your mask on, and sometimes you get nothing back, and it crushes my soul.
It's hard to tell if somebody is actually smiling or not,
Yeah, there's like that nod, like I'm like, my neighborhood is somewhat like, there's a lot of people around. I live in Williamsburg, like. Everyone's somewhat out and about, but especially the morning runners, I'm really trying to get someone to say good morning back to me, but maybe someone will tomorrow. I'll look forward.
Nice. Now, Leah, I want you to tell, when we were making Her Name is Chef, which we'll talk about that off camera, what's going on and all that. But when you were doing that, you had an opportunity to make something with Hillary one day, right?
Why do you have to call me out on that moment? It was not my proudest moment by any means.
We've all seen a couple of those, but tell me about making what you made.
We were making the pepperoni bread. It's hard. It's difficult. I mean, I'm a pro at making biscuits right now, Hill, if you want to throw down on that, girl.
I'm sure I would fail miserably.
Oh my God.
I'll practice tomorrow.
I feel like a beautiful thing about cooking is that like there's so many things to make, and I don't really have that much experience in Italian cuisine. I've actually never worked in almost 20 year career in an Italian restaurant. So like I've never really made fresh pasta. So I just started playing with that here at the restaurant, and we put like our first fresh pasta dish, which was a spinach linguine. So it's like fun to be able to learn new things. And that was a really fun day for me. Even though my pepperoni bread looked awful. It looked so bad, but it's fine. It's all about learning and practice and making it better.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you go to Vic's, what's the first thing that you're gonna eat when you go up there?
Me?
Yeah.
I want a Negroni, and I want a Negroni, and I'm just not one of everything, please. One of everything. Something with the vegetables. I remember there being like a pea dish, maybe. We went in spring. I mean, whatever she's making, I'm eating. That's how it goes there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to cook for you. Trust me, I can't wait.
Yeah. All right, Elizabeth and Leah, thank you so much. I'm going to jump back here.
Thanks, guys. Nice
Hillary might have some more surprises coming down the line.
No, I'm not going. I'm just saying goodbye to them.
Okay. Yeah.
Bye, ladies.
All right.
Have fun. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Yes. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye. All right. So now, in terms of what you're making in quarantine, what are you cooking up? What's going on in your place?
I do my best. So I've been working on all these breads, and I've been working on one. I've just made the 5th batch of it. It's a take on a bread from Chris's bakery out in Long Island. She makes this caraway bread that it was kind of like one of those things. We're doing an event together one day, and I looked over, and she's like next to me, and I was like, "You got to tell me how you make that." And she's like, "It's pickles." And I was like, Okay, so I did all this research. I was like, now's the time for me to figure it out. So I made a fennel version of it. So that's what I just put this one. This is my fennel
Nice.
pickle bread.
Mm.
So I've been doing a lot of breads, but I've been cooking super healthy. I've been trying to keep in the seasons too. Like I've been going to the farmer's market. I've been cooking with.
So you're still going to farmer's market?
I am still going. You got to keep those people
Mask,
alive.
mask,
Gloves. I mean,
whole nine. Yeah.
a whole thing. You
Right.
know. And yeah, we have to. That getting ramps last week for like a different palette for a different smell in the house to like change it up. It really like rejuvenated me. Of course, I'm cooking a lot of Italian food, but I've been doing a lot of random other things. We cooked ramen one night.
Nice.
We did a kimchi stew one night. On Sundays, to make sure we know it's Sunday, Tess, my wife, and I sit down and we have Sunday pranzo at like 4 or 5, essentially. And so she's been giving me a challenge each week to be like, one day she wanted vindaloo. Chicken vindaloo.
Oh, what are you gonna do? This is not your wheel. This is not in your wheelhouse, you know.
So I made spring onion naan, and
Nice.
I made chicken vindaloo, and I made rice, and I watched videos, and I studied for a couple of days, and then I've been asked for Vietnamese food and Thai in the next couple of weeks. So I have my hands full because it's not like this in my repertoire. So I'm really studying, I'm learning, I'm delving into the cuisines. But during the other days, it's a lot of healthy protein and vegetables, unfortunately, except these carrots are
All right,
really.
we have another little pop in for you. Okay, I don't think she's gonna pop in visually though. We'll see. Okay.
So fun today.
Yeah, this is your life. By the way, we tried to get Christine Sanchez, and she
What happened?
she was totally into it, and she had something happen in her life, and said she could not do this, but she loves you, and she wanted me to say that to you, so we're saying it.
Wonderful.
That would have been cool, right?
That would have been awesome. I haven't seen her in so long. It's so
Yeah,
great.
that's what I said. I was like, oh, well, okay. But I think it was serious. Okay, so Claire is connecting to audio. Let's see how do you know Claire, right? Claire Robinson's going to join us. Yep.
I used one of her cookie recipes the other day.
Was it 5 ingredients?
Hello.
Yeah, I think it was.
Hey, Claire.
Hi.
Claire Robinson is here.
Hi. I wish I
Hey.
could see everybody. Hey, Hillary. Oh, chef.
I was just
hello.
talking about one of your cookie recipes I used the other day. Your
Oh
peanut
my
butter. one.
goodness. Oh my! Wow. That one doesn't have flour, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
How
How did you
Trying
know?
amazing. I
to keep
remember
it as
that.
healthy as possible while I make cookies.
Yeah, because cutting out the flour is going to make a huge difference. Just
Claire,
loads of that are
uh,
shoving it in.
I asked her, is it a 5 ingredient recipe, or is this just a recipe that is open to as many ingredients as you want?
I think it was.
No,
like-
remember, they only gave me 5. It had to be 5. Hillary
Claire, I
probably
want-
made it like 6 ingredients, and it's amazing. It's like 6 and a half. You know?
I'm
I,
just
um,
busting.
I learned that I had it. I'll be honest, Claire, I will. So I looked it up and it said put it on parchment paper, and I didn't have any at home, but I had wax paper for some reason. I didn't bake with it, but I did have to Google, can you cook with wax paper? 'Cause I had no idea.
I love it. I love it.
I was like, you can cook with wax paper, right? And like, I'm home alone, and I was like, I gotta look this up. And
That's
thank God-
brilliant. Yeah.
That
I would
is-
think
it's-
you know everything. So
Oh,
yeah.
this is wax paper. I've been like using it to like cover the table, like when I like get like stuff.
That's incredible. Well, they don't have wax paper in restaurants, and she's one of the most incredible restaurant chefs there is. So
Yes. So Claire, while you're here, and I know I think you're driving or something's going on with you.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm driving.
Yeah, you're driving. So I want and I wanted you to have an opportunity to tell Hillary what your favorite dishes that she makes are and what you think of her as a chef.
Oh, well, chef, I must say you are one of my all-time favorites in New York City, all around, but in New York City, you're my go-to. I think what I'm most impressed by is the fact that you can take something simple like carrots, and I will dream about the dish that you made with carrots for years to come. I mean, you take such simple, like one ingredient, you show up like the whole 5 ingredient concept times 20, because you take this one ingredient, you turn it into something really special where it's still the star of the dish. And I feel like it's so complex, however, something so recognizable and simple. It escapes me how you're able to do that. And it's like I tasted carrots almost for the first time when I had that side dish of carrots that had the yogurt and all the flavor on the bottom. Do you remember that one, Peter?
Oh God, I can't forget it. But I'm with you on that,
so
Claire.
good.
That's exactly what it is. It's like you tasted carrots for the first time. It's absolutely that's what it is, and that's amazing.
Well, thank
Oh
you,
my
guys.
goodness,
I need to eat
your
some carrots again, I guess.
Wait, what's that?
golden raisins. Hillary, do you remember your golden raisins that you had?
Yeah, what was it? I don't even remember the dish, but I know what you're talking about. I love using golden raisins.
Yes, well,
You're like, I love
okay.
them.
Hillary and I were together in South Carolina, and she
Oh, yeah.
had brought these golden raisins that were pickled with so simply pickled with, if I believe it was like a gastrique with saffron, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
And it was the most simple ingredient. She just had tons of quarts of these golden raisins to put on grilled fish that she so casually grilled for 1,000 the morning of, and ramps that she also casually grilled just without any tools, and just last minute shows up to South Carolina and bangs out the most incredible meal again that I have had. And it was so, this one ingredient of golden raisins that were pickled, I swear I ate a quart of them by myself. and they would have made anything taste good. And again, they tasted so complex, the balance, the dance of salty and sweet and the acidity, and then the undertones of the saffron, but it tasted like there was more in it. I kept telling you, Chef, I was like, there's no way that's all that's in there. That can't be true.
Yeah.
You're not telling me the recipe.
Even secrets. I promise, no secrets with me.
It was just so clever. I mean, you're just so clever, and you really know how to make ingredients shine, and you are truly one of my all-time favorites, and I will constantly look up to you as one of the best chefs I know.
That's very nice.
Claire, thank you so much.
And
I'm
Claire,
not that nice.
is she? And she's not, because I've heard her do the opposite about others. I'm just kidding. No, I want to say that when I told her about Her Name is Chef and we were at your restaurant, the episode she wanted to see was yours, and she absolutely loves you and what comes out of your episode. So I think she's.
It's my favorite. I'm biased, but it's my favorite. Yeah.
Yes, mine as well.
100%.
Claire, thank you. And did you know, Claire, that that Hillary got her start working with Bobby Flay? Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah.
I did know that. Who's also a fan of yours.
Yes.
But I mean, it's amazing, because I feel like you're a very different chef, but I find that we each chef learns from, we all learn something from each other, but there's just that handful that really helped shape you and form you. And Hillary, it's funny because I've worked with Bobby, but then now you've become one of those chefs that also is shaping and forming my palate and my inspiration when I'm writing, simple recipes for the home cook.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm here for you. Okay. Anything you need.
Real quick, Claire, before you leave, I know you're doing a lot, and I want to ask about restaurants and whatnot. Elizabeth just checked in. What are you getting on your end with the restaurant industry crisis? Yeah.
I'm finding on my end that I really hope that the government comes through with something. I've been working tirelessly with Eric Bruner Yang on Power of 10, which is focusing on raising money for mom and pop restaurants, because there's, I feel like Save Restaurants is a wonderful, coalition to hopefully get the government to, spread some love. I mean, my goodness, we need a bailout here of some sort. But I mean, overall, I hope that happens. However, there's so many mom and pop restaurants that are one-offs that are in every city across America that are, they're struggling to figure out even the loan application process, which it seems simple, but it's not for everybody. And unless you had a payroll company handling your payroll, my goodness, I mean, I was going cross-eyed trying to help some of these mom and pop restaurants fill out their forms. So so I'm, you know, I'm finding that people are fighting, they're struggling, but they are fighting, and everybody is so willing to work and help each other. And I feel like we are coming together. And you know, I'm not a restaurateur, but man, man, do I eat at them. So I'm trying to help out all these incredible chefs, and you know, Hillary is one of the ultimate chefs. So I find that we're all in the same boat in some ways, but those one-off mom and pops, you know, that's what's incredible is being able to call every chef now somehow as being, you know, we're all in this boat together and we're all helping each other. And it's not, you know, about the competition of the restaurant across the street. It's let's all join hands and figure out.
Yeah, that's actually the nice thing to see about that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, we have another person popping in. Claire, thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you for popping in.
Bye, Claire.
Yeah,
Great
thank
to see
you, Claire. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Okay, so we have the person who shot your wedding. Adrian is going to pop in and say a couple of nice things about you. You're also going to talk about your ingredients and all what you have. So we're going to get to that in a second, but I wanted everybody to get an opportunity. Oh, look at this.
Look at that backdrop.
Hello, I had to join your party.
Yeah, I saw her pop in at the chat and I was like, oh my God, you're the perfect person to kind of pop in. This was totally
Oh my God, your backdrop is a picture. It's great.
improv.
Hold on, I've got a better one.
There's some good ones.
Oh boy.
Oh wait, really to be in the party, I feel like this is more, this is where we should be.
That is very cool.
I saw your face and I was like, I have to come in and say hello and let you know that I miss you.
Yes.
And tell you about how much fun we had together.
Yeah.
Almost rolling through a fire pit at the end of the night.
Amazing. It looks like you had a blast at the wedding.
Me? I had a wonderful time.
Both of you. I actually meant Hillary. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty special day, and I think she captured it really well. We were looking through some pictures the other day. There's a terrible picture of me dancing with one of my friends, and we were on like a FaceTime, and we had to kept popping them up to be like, hey, remember that moment?
I'm very familiar with that moment. I know. If you would like me to pull it up, I can.
It's turning into a conference, where the people have the, and remember this, and they have
I'm good.
Remember the spritz?
Okay, Adrian, I'm just going to ask you this.
Yes.
What is it about, seeing Hillary? Listen, I eat her food. I think she's an amazing person. Yes, I've met her and hung out with her. She's a very fun, amazing person. But you got to see her in a very personal moment. What is it about her that you saw on the day of the wedding? And her now wife. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the both of them, it was just, you were surrounded by so much love, and the authenticity of the day was perfect. Even when, we were just a little bit delayed starting with you guys walking down the aisle out back. And then how your friend, she's just like, well, I'm just going to hop in here. And she's just, made it up on the fly what she was going to start talking about. People were laughing and fanning themselves. And it was just anything that steps outside of a typical wedding and truly shows people's souls and what they're about and who they are for each other. It's just, it speaks so much to their personalities, and from the hashtags to the food. And I got to be in the background and see what was going on with the food. Cause usually I don't have to photograph many plates. It's like photograph a couple of things and the table settings and
right, because it's like the fucking Venetian, and who cares?
Right. So
I just threw them under the bus in Jersey. There you go.
Their plates are great over at the Venetian, but they weren't.
I don't think so. But okay.
There was so much care into it, and I forgot who was in charge in the back room, but she was like, wait, I got a better one, and she'd pull out. She's like, no, not that plate. This one. And she would pull a plate out for me to photograph. And it was just so awesome. And in the back, in the grill pit, and smoke coming up over the barbecue, I got to be so close to all the elements of the day, which I normally wouldn't be. So besides getting to see a little bit the window into your lives together, the goings on behind the scenes of what it takes in putting together food for a wedding is something that I've never actually seen before. So that was really cool to take a peek behind the curtains.
We're happy to share that.
And I got to nibble on some of those carrots
I hope so.
you were talking about. It was super fun.
Yeah.
Still waiting on your album. So.
I know.
I'll design it for you. You don't have to put a thought.
There
in.
you go. I mean, she just showed me the other day, Adrian. When I had an anniversary, so I was like, because Christine, my wife, is from California and all that stuff, and I was like, well, I want to really. I took her out here for a 10-year anniversary. I had Everclear play a whole thing, and I was like, there's only one person I'm going to ask to come with us, and it was Adrian, because she's just an amazing person and an amazing photographer. So, listen, you're going to be jumping off here soon, and I'm all about gratitude these days. Adrian, I appreciate you so much, and everything that you've done for me and for people. I think you just bring such a great spirit and personality to everything that you do. So
making me blush. Glad
I know. Well, I'm just, I wanted to throw that at you, and thank you for popping in here and adding to a little bit about Hillary.
Well, thank you so much for coming. It's so good to see you. You did such an amazing job. We're just like, we couldn't have asked for someone to be with us on such a special day and capture us being crazy and ridiculous and all sorts of fun and love surrounding us. So
thank you. Thank you so much. Hillary, thank you for having me. And I don't know if Tess is in the room back there somewhere, but
she can hear you.
She can hear
behind
me.
The scenes.
Hey, Tess.
Behind the scenes. Right.
It was absolutely amazing. And of course, special to Melissa and I, to share that kind of day.
Yes.
For a same-sex wedding, for us, that's our heart. So to be with you guys on that day was so much more than any wedding day that could have, happened that weekend. It was super special. We love you guys. Thank you. And then Pete, I love you.
I love you. Yeah. And I will say
always.
Your same-sex wedding with Melissa was beautiful. It was an absolutely amazing day. I was so touched to see you guys do all that. So very happy.
Don't tell them about all we did. Don't tell them.
All right. Okay. I'm kicking you out of the room.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Yeah. All right. So I wanted to definitely get you some surprises.
You're killing me. Thanks.
Yeah, well, we don't just do like a normal, have you on the podcast kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so at some point, she's not coming on. I did email her, but just like 10 minutes ago, so she's not coming on. You worked for Misty Robbins at one point. Tell me about that experience. That had to be absolutely another incredible one. And I know her name is Chef. Don't get into all of that, but talk to me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I mean, working for Missy was amazing. It got to I came from a very rustic Italian background. And it was really interesting to be able to see Italian food through a different lens as she was creating it. And, me learning how to do different, more fine dining aspects of it, but not removing that heart and soul of real Italian cooking from it. It was interesting. I mean, I spent so many years working with her that, I got to see her evolve as well, and my own vision and palate evolve. And, I definitely think, the food at Vic's is like a rustic, much more aggressive version of what we were doing back then. But, as all things do evolve, restaurants evolve, food evolves, and, chefs, we evolve. So going back to the Avoce days, wearing, putting these beautiful plates out in a totally different environment. And now, Vic's is just loud and aggressive and there's fire and all these things that would have never happened. I wouldn't say I need to cook that food ever again. I mean, I think that especially now that there's probably a fine dining Italian is going to be a tough one to turn around right now. But, that soul of rustic Italian food was there. It just came on shiny different plates.
All right. I'm going to ask you a question, but I don't want the theme of the late at night shows, whatever happens. But so I'm going to ask you this about this person, but I don't want to get into all the hoopla and drama around the person. Now, you know where I'm going. Yeah. I want to know, you went from Bobby Flay, an icon of Food Network television, to working for Mario Batali. Mm-hmm. To me, when I was growing up watching food television, the three or four for me were Bobby, Emeril, Mario, and Rachel Ray. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't know who the fourth is, but you know, there's a group. Who is the Mount Rushmore of the Food Network, right? I mean, you can argue that, but anyway, what was that experience like for you working for Mario Batali? We're going to ignore all the other things, and we're just going to talk about the chef. Yeah.
You know, I got to work for that organization, and it was just it was an organization that opened my mind up, and the chefs that you know I worked with there, you know, Mario and Mark Ladner, and you know, they opened my mind up to farmers markets and to more seasonality that I didn't really understand before, and the importance of the small purveyor, the small producer, the small farmer, you know, the individual fishing boats. That's what those guys did for me. They opened up my mind to a world that I had not been exposed to into that great of detail. Yeah, Bobby's on TV, Mario's on TV, but I wasn't there for that. I was there for their food, their palate, their organization, their restaurants, to learn how to run and work in those environments. You know, Mario's great. You know, he and, you know, and Mark and Steve at the time, they wrote these beautiful menus, and they worked together, and we fed him all the time. He came around, and, you know, it was, you know, we fed the kids had different things they liked to eat, you know, the wife, all that stuff. And to us, he was a guest that really mattered. And one that was obviously extremely important to not screw up the food. So, you know, I was there to learn what their visions were and how to cook under their visions and see their food in that way. That's for me.
That's amazing.
That's what I was there for.
Now, I know we talk a lot about this in the show, and I don't want to spoil too much, but whatever. Your Cacio Pepe experience of traveling all over to find the greatest Cacio Pepe. Share a little bit of that with everybody.
You know, for me, Cacio Pepe is the end all be all. You know,
and I'm craving it when I saw your face pop up, I started saying, fuck, do I want Cacio?
One in the same.
Right? Yeah.
You know, for me, it is the epitome of exceptional cooking. The balance, the ratio, you know, the flavor of the peppercorns. It's really, to me, that's what it is. And so I have this crazy old pepper mill at home where I have to like crank the pepper, and one day I'll make cacio, and it'll take me like 100 cracks of this pepper mill. So we were in Rome for a couple of days, and I was in Rome way back when I was traveling after culinary school, and I was eating pasta and not understanding what I was eating, knowing it was magical and amazing, but I didn't understand. So, you know, fast forward 20 years later, I'm back in Rome again, and I was on the best search I could possibly find if I wanted to eat every bowl of cacio pepe I can find. In the episode, you say that you wanted to test yours versus the others, and you're probably meant, you know, in a way, right? Yeah, I wanted to know if I had anything to stand on. Is my cacio good? I don't know. Right. And so good. Yeah. Sorry. You know, another thing about evolving, we've talked about peppercorns before, and me, like the chase of the peppercorn. So we ate, of course, it was July. We were in Rome for a wedding, and it was July, like 2nd or 3rd. It was 95 degrees out, and all I was doing was eating cacio pepe. I thought I was going to like sweat black peppercorn and pecorino. And I had 6 bowls in 3 days. And you know what? Every single one of them had some redeeming quality, was amazing, was okay, was just, they were all so different. And then my takeaway from that was just like, okay, if my ingredients are there, my flavor's there, there's no rhyme or reason. There's no perfect cacio out there, I'm going to have to say. So I don't regret. I would go back and eat 6 more bowls of cacio in Rome any day of the week, anytime. You ready? I'm going. Let's do it. I'm coming with you. All right. I'm going to try to do something. Now, this is this Zoom. So I'm going to try to share my screen. You have not seen any of your episode of Her Name is Chef. I want to share with you the open. Are you seeing something that says Sunspot Films? Yes? I can see it. Now, you might not hear anything. That's the big I'm nervous now. The big debate. But you know what? I might share it with you
so that you have something to watch while you're. I might share all the episodes with you, so you could be like, "Oh my god, I just watched Her Name is Chef." Okay, ready? Here goes nothing. Are you hearing anything? No audio. Okay. All right, hold up. I don't want to spoil it. Supposedly there's a button about audio. Let's see. Okay. I'm looking at audio settings. That's me. I sound great, but I want to get out of here. Sorry for this, for anybody watching, but it's important that she sees this. Nope. All right, let's see. How about this? This is going to change me, right? I sound different now. Yes or no?
Yes, you sound different.
Okay. Does this fix anything for you? Nope. You're not hearing that. Well, here's some bad news. I'm not sharing it. Okay. I mean, there's no like audio button, but I wanted to share that opening with you. But I mean, if there's a Zoom expert out there somewhere, tell me how to do that. Okay.
I can't help you with that. I'm only novice at Zoom. I take my CrossFit classes and I take meetings. That's it.
I hear you. I mean, I feel like to a degree, Zoom was like, what the fuck?
What just happened and why are we so popular? Right.
Yeah, they're like, this is good for us, but what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like now we have to actually do some shit. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing that. Okay. So I don't know why that happened. I'm sorry. There's a button that supposedly says if you just.
Okay, I'll keep waiting patiently.
No, you know what? I'm going to, as soon as we get off the chat.
I don't want to see it. I'm not, I want.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Do you want to see someone else's?
I'm waiting patiently for it.
Yeah, me too.
Come on.
Yeah. And we're working on it. I'll text you afterwards. Anyway, okay, so what are you eating? What have you been eating during the quarantine? You talked a little bit about some things.
I'm eating
pickled breads.
On my Milanese, besides my pickled bread, which anything goes on pickled bread. I'll be happy to share the recipe.
Please.
From like hot dogs to cheese. I'm eating right now finocchione on my pickled bread, and tonight I think we're having pork Milanese. I'm working on a gluten-free recipe that just uses mustard and then breadcrumbs as the binder.
Adrian is helping. Share computer sound. Let's try that. We'll try this again. She is sending some stuff. Okay. Wait a minute, Hillary. Wait. Share computer sound. Okay.
Again.
And I do want to hear about all that amazing stuff you're making, but is this better or what? Let's tell me. What do you think of this? Does this work? Hold up.
Yeah.
Food is about passion, and it's supposed to be fun. And this is what we do for a living, and we chose it. It didn't choose us. We actually went out and sought this career in this industry, and just don't give up.
Mark, let's go. I need 17 cacio, one half, one no cheese, one no butter, one no pepper.
We do the same thing every day, give or take. A vegetable, a protein, a person.
I need 4 tomato pizzas, 1 pepperoni, and 1 rapini, please. I got 2 more carrots, guys.
If you want it, you can have it. You just cannot give up. And it doesn't matter if you cry in the walk-in, because everyone has and everyone does it. Guys and girls, don't be fooled. Just don't give up. Like, honestly, I stand by that 100% and allow you to be nurtured. Ask questions and don't just assume. Even if I'm crazy some days, if you ask me a question, I'm always going to stop and give you some long answer or short answer, or I'm going to help you through your day.
1 more carrots, please. Get in the pan. Let's go. I need 1 more onion stand in the corner. Come on.
We don't let people fail in this kitchen. There's no heroes, we like to say. You're going down, I'll be the first person on the line to dig you out, as long as you tried.
You guys fire 7 more cacio. Fire 3 chicken. Fire 2 tomato pizzas, please.
This job doesn't end when the restaurant closes. It never ends. There's constant studying that needs to get done. And I think the smarter you are and the more comfortable you are with food and knowledge and cooking principles, you can go wherever you want to go. Just don't give up.
I'm Leah Gaff.
All right. So we shared the intro of your episode.
That's great, Peter.
Good stuff inside that.
Yeah.
Okay. The girl
I
that
don't think I've ever fired that many cacio.
I know we were really pushing you. The girl that ate the cacio, is she okay?
She is okay.
Okay. Yeah.
She worked in the kitchen actually for a little bit, and then she moved on to a different restaurant. But
Good for her. Yeah, she's a good person. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so now you were talking about a little bit before what you were making, and where are we at? I'm sorry, I interrupted you. And
no, it's great. I mean, I'm glad I got to see that. I'm makes me nervous, but still, it's.
Well, you say a lot of things. Yeah, but it's good. All good. It's all good.
There's a part of me that misses expediting, but there's another part that at that moment right there, it's like when we're faked those tickets coming out.
You're kind of happy with the little time off, maybe.
So yes, I am. I cook. Basically, my wife still works, so I cook.
What she still works? What does that mean?
She is working. She works for Italy.
Oh,
she's
cool.
in charge of the cheese and salumi for the United States. So essentially she is an essential worker.
Awesome. Well, I guess that's all. I don't know if that's awesome or not to be essential. I don't know, but
yeah. So we have, I drive her to work. I make her breakfast. I come, she's home for dinner. I make dinner every night. We don't think we've ever eaten dinner together this many nights in a row, and ever. I don't think I've eaten dinner this many nights in a row in the last 20 years either. So I
think that's a good thing. That's a silver lining for chefs. Maybe that's coming out of it, right?
Yeah, we have dinner together every night.
Yeah. I think that's probably something that most chefs complain about, that they don't have that opportunity to have dinner with their family and loved ones. But now they have this incredible opportunity to make them a part of what they do, right?
Absolutely. I think this is a really essential part of our relationship right now. And while, the tables are turned right now, I'm home and she's been home, before and now I'm understanding and I'm, making sure that whatever she needs for work is ready and I'm that person. So I do take requests, and sometimes, as I told you, she's giving me all these random requests. The other day she requested croissants. So wish me luck on that one.
Yeah.
I've been making only pasta once a week. Because in last week I even skipped it.
No. That would be a requirement. No. What do you mean skip it? What the fuck do you mean skipping it?
I'm really like pulling some things out. I've made mole the other day for like a 2-day mole. I'm working on my Milanese chicken and pork. I've made eggplant parm the other day. That was it was pretty special. And I'm really learning. The biggest thing I'm learning is how to cook for 2 people.
Right.
2 means like 4. The other day I was giving mole out to everybody I saw. I was like, I made like 10 quarts of it because I was still learning. I'm finding inspiration in all different places. So for me, I'm like, okay, what am I inspired about today?
Right.
I made this elk ragu. Someone gave me a piece of elk as a wedding present. I can't make that up. And I like.
That's a brilliant wedding present for you. I mean, I think people are probably like, "Fuck, what do we get her? Elk, duh."
I worked on some doughs. I'm working on a collaboration coming up with another pizzeria. So I've been working on this dough and this recipe for them. Honestly, I'm really trying to keep my flavor profiles where they're for me: high acid, high heat, balance. And I'm trying not to gain like 20 pounds while I'm on this adventure.
Yeah, I'm too late on that. Yeah.
You will see a lot of the food that I'm cooking at home right now come to life at Vic's when we reopen.
Oh, that's amazing. So is that the silver lining for you? One of the things is that you're learning some new things to bring back when things start opening.
Absolutely. I pull like 3 different cookbooks down a day and I put them on the dining room table. And at some point I flip.
Who's the cookbooks? Who are the cookbooks? Claire Robinson. We heard that.
Yeah, I needed a gluten-free cookie and I was like, bam, Claire, there we go. I've been So I picked like, yesterday or today was a pizza day. So I pulled down a bunch of different pizza books. One about pan pizzas. I do have some at work that I need to get. Pizza Camp, which I love from Philly, just because their toppings and their food is so great, and just kind of like getting excited about other things.
Yeah.
Researching other people's doughs, seeing what they're doing. Of course, like everyone else, I have 3 different starters going right now, which are kind of like overtaking my life a little bit. I got mad at them the other day, and I put one in the fridge, and I was like, "You're not eating today. I cannot feed you again today, nor can I bake anything else with it." So and today I brought down pasta grannies today as well. I just started flipping through, and I think tomorrow's the pasta Italian land. So I pulled down like 3 or 4 books only in Italian. And
Nice.
And I flip through them, and I work on my vocabulary, and I Google words, and sometimes I'll have a glass of wine in the middle of the day and really.
I do that all the time now. Yeah, it's bizarre. Let me ask you. You're in the episode also, and we've done this. We've gone to some of your places that you grew up eating at. How are those places doing in this?
It's so funny. I went out there the other day because I needed a change of scenery for running.
Mm-hmm.
So we drove down.
What an odd place to run.
I was like, I need a change of pace. Where can we go that there's no cars and there's not a stoplight on every corner?
Right.
So we drove out to Coney Island, and and it's just there's those places that have been there for so long, like Brendan Carr, that place where we ate that roast beef sandwich.
Fucking love that place, man. That's another place I'm going back to with you. Yeah.
That place will survive this.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Given what's in the recipe, they've survived worse.
Yeah. Whatever's in that trough of jus.
Yeah, exactly.
I think some of those places, with the older owners might call it at some point. You know, it's going to take, when we go back, it is going to be like, we'll be on fire. We'll be running. We'll be chasing. We'll be doing all of those things that we started opening with. It's going to be all over again. So, I don't know. I don't know how those places are going to be, and I feel for them. Like, we have a support system, and Vic's is going to reopen, and we're going to fight, and we're going to do all these things. I don't know if those small mom and pop with older owners that have been there for 30, 40 years are going to be.
I'm worried about that. Yeah.
So.
All right. So I end every episode with talking about gratitude. And before I say something wonderful to you, I want you to have an opportunity to say something wonderful to a mentor or someone in your life that totally inspired you or did something for you in some way. It could be cooking, it could be not, whatever it is, whoever it is in this particular moment. Go ahead. Who do you got? And what do you have to say to them?
There's a chef I worked for, the chef actually at the time of Lupo when I started there, Steve Connaughton. He gave me a chance, and I had never cooked an ounce of Italian food in my entire career. He hired me because he knew I could expedite, because I could do the covers I did at Mesa Grill. And I studied and I learned, and I got every book on Rome I could find in 2005, 6, whatever it was, when there was Barnes and Noble and there's only 3. And he took such a chance on me, and I can never repay him for taking that chance, because it's changed my path to really be able to, foster this love of Italy that I didn't even really know I had, but I knew I had it. And he gave me a shot, and I can never thank him enough for leading me on this wonderful journey that I'm on.
And I will say to you that I remember we were looking for chefs for Her Name is Chef, and going to your this thing, what you just said about your pathway and whatnot. I remember sitting in your restaurant because we were supposed to meet Elizabeth and whatever, long story. And I started eating your food, and I was so connected to you. Right. Last night I did a show about the records that made us, right? The records that shaped us. And someone said that you lived inside a record, right? I also feel like you can live inside someone's dishes, someone's food. And that night, in that particular moment, the dishes that you presented were just out of this world. I think you're an incredible person. And I just said, I have to know this person. I have to have her on the show. And the more I got to know you personally, I think you're just an incredible human being and you do a lot of great for a lot of people. So I'm so grateful that you were on our show and that you did this little thing today. But your Cacio Pepe is to die for, and I'm coming to it as soon as everything in the world gets better. So I just appreciate you so much. I think you're an amazing person.
Well, done and done. I'm here for you anytime.
Appreciate it. All right. So thank you so much for doing this, and we'll catch you next time. All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Great to see you.
Yeah, you too. Okay. Bye-bye.